Hi, my name is Dr. Jens Luebow. This is about a short jazz tutorial, specifically looking at the music of Johann Sebastian Bach and the role it plays for pianists and jazz pianists in general. Everybody knows that Johann Sebastian Bach's music is relatively difficult to play. A lot of people don't like the ancient music style, the elements that have to be practiced in very defined details. Hence, it's a lot of work for students, it's harder to understand music, and it takes a lot of work to perfect your technique to be able to play it with fluidity and sensitivity. But coming back to the jazz, why is Bach so great to study for jazz pianists? There's many reasons for that. One of them is what we know as counterpoint is a common element in Baroque music, especially in both jazz and Bach's music. Counterpoint is a current bass line that continuously runs through a piece. As an example, when you listen to a jazz piece, it might start on the bass line, string bass player could play it, or the pianist if he's a soloist, and it sounds something like that. And so forth. So the counterpoint is the continuous bass line that runs through the beats and accompanies basically and holds also the steady rhythm of your melody. Now in Bach we find that in many of his pieces that there's a continuous bass line that goes through that. In addition, Bach changes the melodies quite a bit, and the harmonies also in a more advanced fashion than it would be typically expected in Baroque music. So it requires a very close look at Bach's music to be able to extract the elements that are important for jazz, or even if you have this interest to play Bach in a jazz version, I would advise anybody who has this interest to take a look at the classical line first and understand the technicalities of the classical piece. So to give you some examples here of what I'm talking about, I'm looking at Bach's Preludium number 5, BWV Bachwerkeverzeichnis BWV 850 in D major, and its original is rather boring at first sight. It goes with a lot of simple notes in the left hand and the continuous melody in the right hand, like. And so forth. That's the beginning. So as to how to understand this piece, we first look at what key is it in. It's D major. And what is our bass line? And so forth. That seems nothing to it. It's just a little jumpy octaves and here and there some notes. But your right hand seems to go contrary to that, and it has to be played with precision and accentuation. Now the jazz pianist looks at it very differently. At first sight you want to understand how is this music composed of, what does it show you initially, and you analyze the bars each for themselves and each other. So we look at bar number 1, it goes, that's the first bar, and so the notes start dee, dum, dee, dum. Or you play it with the bass line. And the next one. So if you accentuate this note sequence as a chord, you have already a jazzy type of sound because it's a dissonance. And you have the counterpoint to it. And if you put the rhythm into it, you can do like any variation of it, and you have already a jazz piece just from looking at the first bar of an original jazz piece. That I just changed the left bass line and that I played a true counterpoint accompaniment rather than just sticking with the solo notes, which gives it a totally new flavor. So how do we turn this preludium into jazz? Well, as I said, we look at the melody first, we study the classical piece and its details, then we have an idea as to what to follow, and we can then start to modify it, improvise on it, and we're free to play it in any way or form that we want to. And I'd like to just present an example as to how I would do it, and it's a spontaneous recording, so this is not scripted or nothing. I'm just looking at the original and trying to incorporate some of these elements as to what I would like to teach people or give them an insight more so as to why is Johann Sebastian Bach's music so important for classical play and for jazz players, especially for the jazz player who wants to advance and play more virtuous things. So let me try to do this here.